I love creating products that people actually use. I love creating products that benefit people. But to do that effectively requires more than science. So as participants representative, I'm responsible for the project team to turn the efforts that are going on in the laboratories into something that can become a product. There are two kind of leadership roles, if you will, in the project. One is the overall project leader. They're responsible for delivering of the work packages. Professors who make sure that the scientific and technical work that's done in the work package is carried out in the right way with a focus towards developing the product. The participants' representative's role is more the commercial role and intellectual property. So are there inventions that are coming out of the work that the project leaders are leading? If so, we'll file a patent. How does the work translate in terms of being able to create that business plan, that commercial value? The medical world is very challenging. Populations are getting older. People require more and more healthcare. Healthcare spending is unsustainable. We have to make our products and our innovations more effective, longer lasting, to try and reduce that overall cost.
MimiCard is a project to develop an implant for people who have defects in their cartilage. That can be due to all different kinds of reasons, disease, but also injury, and they need surgery. We don't have the right solutions yet. That means that the patient is going to have to go through a rehabilitation period. They're going to have to not use their joints for a while and allow things to heal. That implant is only going to last you for 10 years. And then in 10 years' time, you're going to need a newer, bigger operation with another kind of implant. And then 10, 15 years after that, you're going to need another operation with even a bigger implant. So now if you can replace these with a simple implant that is going to last for life, you can cut down these operations tremendously. So that's why we need to work on new solutions that don't have these problems. So the unique thing about this solution is it solves two problems. It's regenerative. So that means once you put it in the body, over time it's going to dissolve away and it's going to be replaced by your own tissue. And that tissue is then going to be good for the rest of your life. And the second is that you'll have pain-free function very quickly, within a matter of weeks.
I'm involved in the project Grafts, and in Grafts we develop new vascular grafts that can be used ultimately for patients that have a renal failure. And these patients, they have to undergo dialysis therapy, and with dialysis therapy you need access to your blood vessels via a small tube, and we call that a vascular access graft. And this tube is made of Teflon. And Teflon is a rather stiff material which works quite well if you need to bend this material, but it's not compliant with the blood vessel wall. So all kinds of problems occur then, and one of these problems is neointimal hyperplasia. And that's a process in which tissue overgrows more or less the blood vessel and the blood vessel graft. So that induces failure of these grafts. So what do we do in access graft? We develop a new vascular access graft which is based on DSM's polyurethanes. And these polyurethanes are more flexible, more elastic, and therefore also more compliant with the blood vessel wall.
Jens I find to be very interesting in the sense that he's not your typical, let's say, company person. He comes from a scientific background, so he gets just as excited and motivated by the new things that we find. But he also knows that that's all fantastic and we should do that, but we also have to keep the commercial side or the realistic side of things in mind. And he helps us walk through it so that at the end of the project, hopefully we not only have something new and wonderful in terms of science and technology, but we're also closer to an implant that, for example, we can take to preclinical testing or even to clinical testing.
He really wants to bring this into a product, and as members from this consortia, we also want to do that, but we also would like to do science that we can publish. So that's something which you need to balance.
We think of possibilities in the realms of science and technology, but Jens sees possibilities in terms of what other kind of products can you make, what other markets can you go into. And when we see that, oh, what we do is useful for this, but it's also useful for that, that actually motivates you even more.
10 or 20 years ago, if you came up with a new product and a good marketing strategy, you could sell those products if you got doctors to believe in them. Now there's a lot more influence from hospital administrators, reimbursers, insurance companies. And you also see that medical device companies, they are focused on a different point in the value chain. They're focused much more on the doctor and the hospital, not so much the early stage innovations. They much rather see those be developed in startup companies, small companies or whatever, and then acquire those. And I think what's really great about InSciTe and how it fits into, you know, the whole ecosystem we've been building in this part of the Netherlands, you know, Eindhoven, Maastricht, and that whole area, we're perfectly placed to now take these projects and keep growing them in spin-out startup companies and getting them to the point that they are very compelling, that these guys want to actually acquire them or sell them on the spin-out company's behalf. So we are in the process of spinning out a couple of projects into companies. I'm really excited about that. And if you can do that in a way that creates jobs, good jobs, and value for society, it's great.